Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening wherever you are in the world. My name is Stelma98 and I am bringing you the announcement video for the Sonic P06 Silver release of Photo Mode mod. Yes, it is finally here and I am so excited to share this with you guys. This mod was created by Makarew, who is a person that is pretty involved in the Sonic P06 modding community, having created the stage extensions mod for custom stages, and they've also created other notable mods like the Sonic P06 first person mod. I knew that they were definitely an amazing person for this job, and I'm happy to say that they've been awesome to work with as we've brought this photo mode to life. One person I want to also shout out for not only creating the P06 Modloader, but for being a huge inspiration by their shadow release version of the photo mode mod is BeatZ. A lot of the features that you're going to see in this mod, which is called PhotosPlus, was inspired by all of the stuff that BeatZ put into the photo mode mod that was for the shadow release. So thank you so much, buddy, and I wish you a lot of luck on BeatBap when it comes to Sage this year. Now let's go ahead and jump into installing this mod. I'm not going to go over absolutely every step because if you look at the card up top, that is a link to the P06 Modloader install video. Shows you how to install the mod loader and shows you, for the most part, how to install every different type of mod that comes with the P06 mod loader. But here, since this is the photo mode, I figured I might as well show it for you guys as well. So if we go ahead and hop over to the monitor here, I do have P06 running, which is why you can hear it. It's just minimized on the tab down here. What you do is you go over to the Game Banana page, which will be public at the time of this video's upload, of course, so you guys can download it, and you will be able to manually download the PhotosPlus mod in a zip file just like this, and then you're also going to want to have your Sonic P06 mod loader folder, like the one I have right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open the P06 mod loader folder, and then I'm going to go into the mods folder. I'm going to go into P06ML, then mods again, and then plugins. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the zip file. You can open it with 7-zip, WinRAR, or I believe Windows 10 has its own zip file extractor built in, so you can just open it that way and you don't have to install any other program. And you're just going to take the PhotosPlus, and you can do this while the game is running, so don't worry. You're going to take the PhotosPlus and you're going to drag and drop it into this plugins folder. I already have it in my plugins folder, so there's no need to drag and drop it. But that's literally it. If you want it to be even easier than that, on the Game Banana page, there is normally a one-click install. So if you have the game running and you click the P06 mod loader one-click install, you're able to install the PhotosPlus mod that way real simply. Alrighty, so just because we have the PhotosPlus mod in Project 06 does not mean it is currently active. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our mods section, and then once it loads up, we are going to go to our plugins section, and we want to make sure the PhotosPlus mod has a red star next to it. If it has a gray star, that means the mod is not currently active. If it has a red star, that means the mod is currently active. So now that it is active, we can go into some stages and mess around with the photo mod. I'm going to be giving a general overview today on most of the features of the PhotosPlus mod, but I highly encourage you to mess around with this mod yourself and try to figure out kind of everything and what this mod can do, because it's pretty powerful in everything that you can do. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into Sonic's Kingdom Valley, because that's kind of the place I like to test out all this stuff. And we're just kind of gonna speed through all of the features here of the PhotosPlus mod. In order to activate the PhotosPlus mod, what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the back button on the controller. If you don't have an Xbox Series controller, you can look in the Sonic P06 game manual and see where all of the controller mappings are binded to the keyboard. So if you need to figure it out on PlayStation, things are mostly the same. But it's really cool that Makarew had full controller support for this mod, so you don't have to use the keyboard for anything at all. Now, as you see in the PhotosPlus mod, we have this really awesome user interface, or UI as I'll be calling it throughout the rest of the video. And let's just talk about it a little bit. So we can see going from left to right on our options at the very bottom of the screen. We can use the right stick to rotate the camera. So without moving the camera, we can rotate the angle in which we're viewing the game at. With the left stick, we can move the camera. Now, where the camera is rotated is going to affect which way that it moves. So if you're rotated straight up and you hold forward on the control stick, you're going to move straight up. You're going to move straight down if you hold it straight down, just like that. And of course, the camera has no clip in everything. So if you want to go through objects, you can absolutely do that. You can press the X button to move the camera down without rotating it, which is pretty nice. And then similarly, you can press the Y button to move the camera up, which is really nice. If you want to hide the UI just to see how the picture will look, you can press the B button, and that is going to hide the UI. And then you can press the B button again to reactivate it. And it doesn't matter where you are in the user interface for the PhotosPlus mod. You just press B again. Gonna hide and unhide the UI. And then finally, if you press the back button again, as you can see on the very right at the bottom there, you're going to exit the photo mode and go back to normal gameplay. Alrighty, so talking a little bit about what these different sliders do on this first tab of the photo mode. The movement speed adjusts the movement speed of the camera. So one thing that I didn't talk about is that if you hold the left trigger, you can actually speed up the camera movement, which is really nice. But if you just want to speed up the base movement speed or slow it down, you can use left and right on the D-pad to move this slider in order to make the camera move faster by default or make the camera move slower by default if you want to fine-tune certain things. The movement multiplier is how much the speed of the camera is multiplied when you hold LT. So when you got it at 100, you can zip around really, really quickly around all of these stages, which is pretty nice stuff if you're looking for a specific spot in a stage you want to take the photo at. Rotation speed, as you may guess, will adjust how quickly the camera rotates around when you use the right stick. Tilt changes how the camera is tilted. So 50 is the default. And if I hold right, we're going to tilt the camera right. If I hold left, tilt the camera left. And then if we get back to 50 here, we are going to be straight up and down with the game. Really cool if you want to do like some Dutch angles or some cool shots or something like that. So after tilt, we have render resolution. So the render resolution goes all the way from 1280 by 720 in 2K increments, all the way up to 16K. So as you can see, we have 1280 by 720. And then next we'll go to 2K, and then 4K, 6K, 8K, 10K, yeah, all of that. Pretty nuts that we are able to go all the way up to 16K. I will warn that in my experience with my build, my PC build, that if I do anything above 4K, it takes quite a while to render the photo out. So if you want to wait, you absolutely can. I personally think that 4K is more than enough for the purposes we have. As of right now at the time of the release of this photo mode. But who knows, maybe later 16K will be the standard and you can take photos that way. Alrighty, so now that we've got all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and take our first screenshot of the game. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to take screenshot, and I'm going to press the A button. Now, nothing happened in game, but if I go to my P06 Modloader folder, you are going to see that a new screenshots tab, or screenshots folder has showed up. Now, if I go into it and ignore the fact that I've done this several times, if you go into it, you will see that our screenshot is sitting right here. And if I go ahead and open it up, we are going to see that, boom, we've got our screenshot right there. And you notice that when you take the screenshot, the UI doesn't show up, which is really awesome. So you don't have to like hide the UI and then not know what selection of the UI that you're on to take the screenshot or anything. The UI is automatically going to disappear when the screenshot is taken, which is pretty awesome. Look how clean that looks. My goodness, I love Project 06. It's such a good looking game. Alrighty. So, say that you don't want a screenshot of the environment. You found Sonic while you were playing the game and you put him in a cool pose or something like that, and you want a screenshot of just him, maybe for a YouTube thumbnail or something, and you want like your own special background and things like that. Probably my favorite feature of the PhotosPlus mode is that you can take screenshots of the character only, which is fantastic. So if I go right here, You can see, because we're in Kingdom Valley and we're running on grass and stuff, we're going to have the leaves there. And I'll talk a little bit more about how to get rid of that later. But we literally have a screenshot of just the character outline, which is really nice. There is a little bit of a black outline around them, which is pretty hard to get rid of because that's just how P06 renders characters. But it's still pretty incredible that we're able to just take a screenshot of the character. No more meticulously going in and erasing everything around the characters when we find them in a cool pose or something like that. Alrighty, and that takes care of the very first tab. There's mostly all the camera work and stuff, so let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, so this second tab isn't nearly as robust as the first one. This is our character and our enemy spawner tab. So what we can do is we can just choose through this list. We have all the characters available to us: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Rouge, Omega, Silver, Blaze, Amy, and Sonic and Elise. So we just choose the character we want to spawn. I'm going to pick Tails here, and then I'm just going to click Spawn Character by pressing the A button there. That's going to spawn the character in sort of a default position near the camera, and you can spawn duplicates if you so wish to have the Tails army or something like that. Additionally, you can spawn enemies. So right here we have the E-Gunner, so I'm just going to go ahead and spawn one of those guys right there. I do want to say that if you spawn characters this way with the photo mode mod, the moment you press the back button, they are going to disappear. However, when enemies are spawned, they are not going to disappear. That's just kind of a limitation of P06 and the photo mode right now. I believe that Makarew is working on a fix for that so that the characters, or at least you'll have the option to keep the stuff you spawn around. But say maybe you don't like this enemy, don't worry, I will talk about that. That's going to be in our next tab. So moving on from there to our next tab is the object manipulator part of the PhotosPlus mod. The moment that you switch to this tab, you are no longer controlling the camera. You are controlling whatever objects that you have selected. As you can see here, the player, because this is the current character that we're playing as. If we were to go back into the normal game, we're playing as Sonic right now. So Sonic is the object that we're manipulating. If you want to adjust the camera at this point, you'll just have to switch back to either the character spawner tab or the camera tab to adjust the camera. Now, with the objects, like I said, you can adjust the players, so they will gain the camera controls, so the left stick will move them and the right stick will rotate them. And they will move in accordance to how the camera is positioned. So because we're at a slight angle up, you can see Sonic, when I'm holding forward, will move at an upward angle. Secondly, what I want to do here is the animation of the player. As of right now, the only two animations we have available to us in terms of what we can select ourselves are the victory animation and the idle animation. If you want to use other animations, you will have to play as the character and then kind of, you know, stop them in whatever animation you'd like them to have. Again, just a limitation. There will be more animations coming later, but we wanted to get this to you guys as quickly as possible. So if you want to have different animations, you can go ahead and just do that. Now, the PhotosPlus mod, because it is a Modloader mod, can work in accordance with other mods like Sonic P06 Extended, which has a character switcher. You can use the character switcher and it doesn't affect anything about the PhotosPlus mod. So if you would like to, you know, maybe have Tails or Knuckles or a character that isn't normally playable in this section of Kingdom Valley, you can use Project 06 Extended to swap characters. So after the animation, we have the character effects, which I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not quite sure what the character effects when you turn it on and off, what it does. So this might be some experimenting on your guys' behalf on what the character effects actually are. I'm gonna have to talk with Makarew on what this actually enables and disables, because in my testing, I haven't quite been able to figure out what it is. I would imagine that it's stuff like Sonic's gem auras, like when you activate the purple gem, it would turn it on and off, but I tried it myself and it didn't quite work, so I'll get back to you guys and I'll put a comment down below on what character effects actually means once I get some information on that. However, super effects in Sonic's super form, or Shadow's uninhibited, or Silver's ESP form, when you take a screenshot of just the character, it will go ahead and remove those effects. If you'd maybe like to have Silver in his cool ESP pose, or Sonic just as Super Sonic without having the big yellow aura glowing around him and stuff, you can go ahead and just take a picture with them by turning those off. Terrain effects is if I go ahead and turn those off, that's what manipulates these leaves and stuff that like the characters kick up when they're running and stuff like that. So if I go ahead and take just a base screenshot like that, and I go ahead and hop over to my monitor and the screenshots folder. Let's see if I can find it here. This one. You can see that the leaves are no longer visible when we take our character screenshot, which is pretty nice. Just a little bit better way to fine-tune your photos that you'd like to create with the characters. Alrighty, the last three options here are teleport to camera. So say I move the camera over here, and I'd like to have Sonic over here. I'm going to go ahead and press teleport to camera, and that's going to teleport the character over to here. Now, if you teleport the player character, you are going to, when you exit the photo mode, that is where the character is going to be. So that way you can allow for some quick travel here. If you want to go to different parts of the stage, you can just teleport the character very quickly over to different spots in the section that you're in. Additionally, we have advance one frame. Now, this works with whatever object you're holding. Is that if I go ahead and click advance one frame, you're going to advance the animations of whatever object you have selected by one frame, which is really nice. So say you got Sonic kind of in a goofy looking running pose during his running cycle, just like that. You can go ahead and advance the frame to have something a little nicer, like when he's fully outstretched, kind of like this. Finally, we have delete object. Now you cannot delete the player character, but as I was talking about before, if I were to spawn another character or maybe spawn an enemy, when I go ahead and select them like this, so I select Tails here, I can go to delete object and that is going to delete them. Now, if I go ahead and exit the photo mode, that is going to delete the character anyway, but just a bit of a nicer way if you've got a complicated setup and you turn out to not like part of the picture that you are creating, you can go ahead and delete the object just like that. And that is pretty much all of the features of the photo mode mod. There may be some more, but that's all of the general stuff to create different photos within Project 06. So now what I'd like to do is I would like to create our thumbnail for this video, and I'm going to try to incorporate as much as possible that the photo mode uses. So let's go ahead and hop into the stage that I'd like to do this with. Alrighty, so here we are. I figure Silver Tropical Jungle would be a fantastic place for this thumbnail. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go ahead and use the movement speed multiplier, again, holding LT to speed that camera up. And we're gonna go all the way over to the end of Tropical Jungle here. I'm gonna teleport Silver to the camera. And we're just going to go ahead and defeat these enemies and kind of get rid of these boxes real quick because I don't want them in the photo. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to align Silver with the sun here. If he's not quite where I want him, that's actually a pretty decent spot. But if he's not quite where I want him, what I'm going to do is go over to the objects and we're going to kind of move Silver here so that he's in a little bit of a better spot. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do is, because I want Silver to be in one of his idle animations, so he is the character, since he is the player character, I am going to go ahead and wait until he does the idle animation that I want him to do. So that way, when I press the back button, that is going to pause the game exactly where I want it to be. All right, there we go. So that's exactly what I wanted. Silver kind of got his hands on his hips. I think it looks kind of goofy and a little bit neat as well. So that's how Silver is going to be. So we have to be very careful to not press the back button again, or else the animation is going to continue happening and I'm going to have to wait for it to cycle around again. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to spawn, you could probably guess, BeatZ and Amy. I think we're going to feature the Silver trio here. Because these were, well, I guess Silver was, but BeatZ and Amy were not featured in the previous photo mode, which is a screenshot of all the rest of the characters. I'll probably throw something on screen to what that old screenshot / thumbnail was. So BeatZ here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that in the object section I have BeatZ selected here, and I'm going to select BeatZ's victory animation. Now, BeatZ's victory animation is interesting in that she actually like moves locations. So when you rotate, she's actually, her center point is back where she's standing in her idle animation. So if you need a better like visual on how to rotate BeatZ, you should you should kind of rotate her in her idle animation and then go to her victory animation so you can see where she's rotated. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get her at least somewhat next to Silver here. So I'll probably cut this part until I get her where I need her to be. I'm gonna go ahead and press X now that I have her in a decent spot and move her down. Looks like she's kind of clipping into Silver's quill there. So it is a little bit difficult to totally fine tune if you want the characters like standing on the ground and stuff. But it just takes a little bit of trial and error to get it. Just like that. There we go. I think that's pretty perfect. We got Blaze in her victory animation right there. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and spawn Amy. Then I'm also going to put Amy in her... Whoopsie daisy. Going to switch over to Amy here and also put Amy in her victory animation. And we're going to place her right next to Silver here. I think maybe like... this. You can kind of see her a little bit beyond. Again, hiding the UI is really nice. That we're able to see. That looks about good. Maybe if I tilt her just a little bit, maybe rotate her, so she's sort of facing the camera. That looks to be where I would like all of the characters to sit. So I'm gonna go ahead and fine tune the camera a little bit more because I think it'd be cool to have them kind of standing like this, maybe like that. So that way it's at a little bit of an angle. They're kind of maybe facing the words that I'm eventually going to put on this thumbnail. And then let's go ahead, just for fun, give it a little tilt. Which way do I want to tilt it? Probably this way, just a little bit, nothing too crazy. And there we go. I think that's what I'd like to have for the thumbnail for this video. I thought it was really cool last time to kind of build the thumbnail with you guys and use the photo mode, so I hope you kind of enjoyed a little bit of me playing around with the photo mode there, and hopefully it inspired you for some ideas. Let's go ahead and get the 2K. Oh, I don't know why Amy went out of her victory animation there. But let's go ahead and take this screenshot. And yeah, hopefully you guys will see it on the at the beginning. I'm going to take a couple screenshots just in case something messes up a little bit, but I think it looks pretty nice. But I guess you guys will be the judge of that. Alrighty, so that was the entirety of the photo mode. I really hope you guys enjoy messing around with it as much as I have. Again, huge shout outs to Makarew for creating this mod. It is absolutely incredible and makes making thumbnails, at least for me, so much easier. I really hope to see some cool photos from you guys. You can, of course, post it in my Discord if you're in my Discord, which you can find on my Twitch channel, or if you're in the general P06 speedrunning community Discord, you can post your photos there, like in the general chat as well. It'd be really cool to see what you guys have come up with. So enjoy the photo mode, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.